Hi there, and welcome to the latest edition of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast. That's the independent Rangers podcast, which is brought to you by fans for fans, and where the content is free. It is a preview episode of the show tonight, guys. We're looking at tomorrow's game against Livingston at the Tony Macaroni Stadium. As I say every week, it's not just the pod we do here at Gersnet. If you get yourself onto the website, you'll see the forums are there. You'll get articles. Frankie's put a match preview for tomorrow's game on there today. There's a history archive on the website as well, so get yourself on there as you can. As always, we would ask you to promote the pod and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Before we get started and introduce my guest, I need to mention Forrest Precision Engineering, who are new sponsors for this season. They're a subcontract Glasgow-based engineering company, and having been a big commercial supporter of Rangers for a number of years. And you can visit, they have a lounge at Ibrox, a stunning new hospitality area. I've seen photos of it. It's in the main stand. For information on how to book that, get in contact with the club via hospitality@gersnet.co.uk. So now to bring in my guest, it's Gary Valentine. And I don't know what I've done on my screen, but I can't see him. There he's there. Aye, there he is. How you doing, Gary?
I'm not bad, how are you?
Aye, not bad. A bit rushed. I didn't finish work till 7 o'clock, so dinner, dog, all that stuff, you know. So aye, a bit rushed, but ready to go now. Do you feel ready for the new season? It seems to have creeped up.
I don't know. It's been felt quite a long time, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we've had a good pre-season. I think we've made some good signings. So I'm quite excited.
I don't know. Maybe I'm still emotionally scarred for the end of the Europa League final anyway. I don't know, but it just seems to. It doesn't seem that long ago. I was sitting on a beach. Let's put it that way. And all of a sudden we're right back into it. But we're right back into it. The game tomorrow. It's, as I said, it's at the Tony Macaroni Stadium, the most ridiculously named stadium, certainly in Scotland, I would say. Kick-off 12 p.m. It's live on Sky Sports. I was having a wee look at the odds today. Livy are 15-2 with Ladbrokes. Rangers 17-5, and you'll get 2-5 for the draw if that's your thing. If you like a bit of a gamble. I was having a wee look, Gary, before we were going to have a wee sort of discussion about Livy. I was having a wee look, trying to find out like their signings and stuff like that. So, like, I know they say you can find anything on the internet, but honest to God, try to find any news about comings and goings for Livy this season. It was pretty hard going, but I did find they have brought in a number of players, no transfer fees involved, and I didn't recognise any of them at all, I have to say. They finished 7th last season, bizarrely 8 points ahead of 6th place Ross County because of the split. And David Martindale, I saw an interview him today. You know, he was very, very confident, or talking very confidently about finishing in the top 6. So you know, they are a club. You know, it done well with them a couple of seasons ago. They got that 6th place. They've already played 3 or 4 games this season in the League Cup. So you know, they're 4 games into their season, whereas we're coming into this brand new. That pitch that we always talk about. The Martindale effect, the fact that they are quite a tricky club and an awkward opposition, it could be an interesting day tomorrow.
Yes, it's probably one of your bogey grounds there in the last couple of years, I would say. But the thing with Martindale is, you know what we're going to get. You're saying there's been made loads of changes in their squad, but it'll be the same kind of players, same kind of setup. They'll play the pitch against us as well, and we've got players there now that have been there for quite a while that will know what to expect, and hopefully they can tell the new players that as well.
I mean, given some, you know, the new signings that coming in, is that a worry then? You know, I mean, I think of somebody like, you know, Cholak, for example. I think we can say for certainty that he'll start tomorrow. As you say, there are players there, your Tavs, your Goldsons, your Ryan Jacks, the ones that have been there for a while, who have coped with it not too bad recently. But when Gerrard initially started, we found that a tough place to go. Do you look at the ones coming in and think they could be in for a shock tomorrow when they turn up at this ground?
Quite possibly, but I think Kolak was a Croatian. I think he would have been used to kind of smaller grounds, probably artificial turfs as well, as he was coming through. So I think they'll be fine. At the end of the day, if Rangers want to win prizes, win the league, they need to beat these teams.
And in terms of, I mean, the only sort of player that always stands out for me when we play Livingston is Bruce Anderson. You know, I think he was at Aberdeen as a boy, still fairly young, 23. he seems to be. I mean, I can't comment on the new guys coming in. As I said, I had a look at their names today. I didn't really recognise any of them. But he seems to be the sort of the main man at Livy.
I've no idea, but it's good that you've went through that kind of stuff. I remember Bruce Anderson coming on as a younger kid at Aberdeen, and they were saying he was quite highly rated at the time. But as I say, if we're got to worry about Livingston, I think we're not starting the way we should be. We should just get it in. We've got guys there that's weeks away from a European final. We shouldn't be worrying about guys like Bruce Anderson.
Okay, Rock. That's
sorry to be too confident. Or talking about that's what I think.
Gio's presser today, so we'll straight into what Gio was saying today. Squad update. So, surprise, came a Ruth still out. You know, I don't think any of us are surprised by that.
You know, he was at Skids recently in Falkirk.
Was he?
Yeah, there was pictures of him. Yeah, he was getting his car all done up, his big people carrier thing. So he must be staying because he got it all done up.
He got it all done up. There you go. Lowry's back in training with the B team. Rabbi Matondo won't make tomorrow. He'll join the group on Sunday for preparing for Tuesday's game. Redvan's he'll not join the squad until Sunday as well. Hollander as well. You know, no real update on him. It looks like he's still some time away.
Which I think was quite worrying that he didn't really give much of a time frame on Highlander.
Yeah, I mean, focusing on Highlander and Ruth, actually, you know, I mean, I think we've had this discussion with Ruth before. You know, I don't think there's any doubt. I genuinely think there's an argument to say that he's the best striker, not just at the club, but actually in the league. You know, I think it's 34 goals in like 72 games or something like that. You know, and even although he only came on for very few minutes at the tail end of the Europa League final, he made such a difference, and he was instrumental in setting up that chance for Kent. You know, and you kind of looked at it and thought, if only, even if they'd got 45 minutes out in that final, I think it could have been so different, because I think the lack of a natural striker killed us. But there's no denying that his lack of fitness is becoming a real issue now. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's, I don't know what to call them, dead wood, but if they're not contributing and we're paying them big money, then we need to kind of move them on. I always kind of say, especially in Roof, if he wasn't injury prone, he wouldn't be at Rangers. We've maybe taken a gamble on him. We could argue it worked because we won the league that season when he did contribute quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But for the money we paid, the wages he's getting, I don't think he's doing enough, or he's not played enough. Certainly going into the UEFA Cup final, if you're missing your main striker, you're hoping your second main striker has got to be there, and he wasn't either.
He wasn't, yeah. Hollander as well, you know, I mean, I like Hollander, and again, I think, you know, when I look at that season, when we won the title and we defended so well, I think, well, we conceded 13 goals in the entire season or something. I always looked at that Hollander-Goldson partnership as the best partnership out of all the central defenders. You know, I think Hollander's positioning, okay, he's not the quickest. I get that, he's not quick. You know, you don't want a striker in that's got a bit of pace running in behind him. But a bit like Davy Weir, he mitigates that with his positioning and knows where to be and reads the game very well. But I mean, last season was pretty bad, and that was at St Johnstone he got the injury, and it looked really innocuous. You know, it didn't look that bad. It didn't
like he jumped up for a header or something.
I mean, the fact that he went off, I was a bit, didn't look like he should have went off for that. And then the fact that we've not seen him since. And again, I think he's maybe further down the line than Roof is in terms of coming to a crunch point. But you are starting to look at Hollander now, and you look at some of the signings that have came in that area through the summer, and you're thinking it's going to be quite difficult from here on in, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Like, even the fee that we paid for him, Swedish international as well, you'd think before, even with like Bassey and that filling in last season, on paper, him and Goldson were our two best centre halves probably. But now we've paid big money for Davies, so I'd expect that he'll play. Excuse me. You think he'll play most games for that kind of money? Goldson is a mainstay, and he has been for the last 4 years. So I really struggle to see where Helander comes in now. And at the same time, I don't think we can carry another big player, if you know what I mean, as a backup. And so he might need to move on as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything will happen. now, obviously, because he's injury. But yeah, I do. I think with both Ruth and Hollander were reaching crunch point. More so with Ruth. It seems to me you get 2 games out of him and then he's 5 or 6. I think the games you get out of him is starting to go down.
Yeah,
the gap between is getting bigger.
The kind of thing that frustrates me with him, Colin, is he's always like coming back for an injury, so he's always trying to get match sharpness, and by the time he gets the match sharpness, he's injured again.
Yeah,
because there was a spell towards maybe the last third of the season we won the league. He seemed to get a run of games, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I remember the 4-1 game against Celtic, and it was absolutely superb. 2 cracking goals he took, ran them ragged. So that shows you what you can get. We've seen it in Europe as well previously, but he needs to get the run of games to then get to that form, and he's just, every time he's close, he's back to square one.
I don't want to, talk the guy down or anything, but do you sometimes think that it's maybe in his mind a little bit? You know what I mean? I always think this with players that break down so often. I mean, maybe I'm totally wrong. I mean, obviously I don't know his medical background. I don't know how his body reacts to stuff, but I always look at this based on just like me and all my mates playing fives on a Wednesday night. You know what I mean? No one is in and out the way these guys, and I get that they're more finely tuned and they're fitter, but guys at our level just play on, you know what I mean? And I do sometimes wonder if some of it's psychological with players that are in and out, if they just feel a slight twinge, they're just not prepared to take this.
See, when you're saying that about fives, that was actually an example I was thinking as well. There's guys I've played with that have maybe done their ligaments and they said, I'll come back, I'll try and play again, and then they'll take another wee knock, and then you didn't see them for a few months. Right, I'm coming back to play again. Yeah. And it's the same kind of thing, and so you don't know if it is just once you get that injury, it just really doesn't go away, no matter how much science they throw at you or whatever, sports science. But it says a touch wood. I hope he comes back and proves me wrong. I always say that about Rangers. Any negativity, I say, I hope I'm here to be proven wrong. But the signs aren't there. They're no good. Yeah, no,
certainly I would agree with that. Gio was asked today about his squad. I mean, this is his first pre-season at the club, and he came sort of mid-season in November, so this is the first pre-season where he's been able to sort of get the players in and get his ideas and all that on it. Fair enough, I think we all noticed a little bit of a change in how Rangers played when Gio arrived, but I was reading a good piece in the Athletic a couple of days ago there with Jordan Campbell, and he was sort of suggesting that it was very sort of hand-to-mouth last season. There was no real time, because the games were coming so thick and fast. It was just play, train, prepare, recover, play, all that kind of thing. No real time to actually sit down and sort of put his ideas across. So it kind of feels like, the pre-season has given him a chance to do that. And again, I think John Campbell's emphasised that in one of his pieces, that there has been more talk around, this is what we're trying to do, this is how we want you to play. And he was asked today that if he felt his squad was stronger and better now than it was at the end of last season. He said he felt it was. I would have to agree with him. I think when I look at the squad now, obviously there's one or two to go. I noticed on Twitter just before we came on that Glenn Middleton's another one that he's left the club. He's joined Dundee United. So I accept that. The players that I'm looking at the moment, there'll be a few of them to go. But when you look at each position, you are thinking we are a lot stronger in every area than we were last season.
Yeah, definitely. Like the first one that jumps out to me is that Matondo. Probably since Daniel Candias, we've been crying out for a proper right-sided attacker. We've tried so many players, Rebo included, who's away. We've now got. I've tried to find out who was actually in and out, but so you've got Itten didn't contribute. Rebo, he never had a set position. He was always a kind of utility man, and we've replaced that utility man with Lawrence, Tillman, Matondo, who are all international players, have all capable of scoring goals. Bassey is an absolute one-off for us, the way he's went for basically 0 to hero.
Yeah.
Because he was a left back, and he was an absolute colossus for that last part of the season.
Yeah.
And really losing even this year, see if we'd kept him, I would still want him to play left back. So is losing a left back really that big an issue? I don't think so. Considering we've replaced him with another international footballer who seems quite highly rated as well. Because it's not like a key player in your team's your left back. But the fee we got from him, you just couldn't turn that down. And then it says we've brought 8 players in, 7 of them are internationals, and we've made a hell of a profit when the guys that we have moved out. Yeah. So to me, as I said, Bassey is a kind of freak out, but we've replaced the players with better players, in my opinion, or certainly on paper we have.
Have you enjoyed the meltdown over the road about the fee that we got for Bassey?
I was looking back and forth when I was on my holidays. It gave me a wee chuckle. Guy phoning up Clyde, arguing with
that guy was the best. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean?
So nuts, man.
It's good though.
It's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, looking at the squad now, you know, and thinking about how G will set up tomorrow. So the first position, which is the goalkeeper, you know, it's up for grabs in my opinion. You know what I mean? Some people are saying he'll start with McGregor. Others, I think Frankie went with John McLaughlin today, and he's sort of previewing. He's predicted starting 11. Although I did notice he amended it on Twitter when he found out Matondo was injured. He had him and he's starting 11. I didn't notice that, Frankie. He's in the background on production. He swiftly deleted a tweet and put Scott Wright in. He's starting 11. But goalkeeper, who do you think he'll go with? Because again, I don't want to come in too hard on McGregor, but you know, I was speaking on Sunday night show that there was definitely signs last season that his performance levels have dropped. Now, if he was maybe 5 or 10 years younger, you could say it's maybe just been a one-off. Go with him again, but at the age he's at, you start to think, is it connected? You know, is it reflexes and all that? Are things starting to impact on his game? I think a lot of people were surprised when he got a year extension, and some maybe even a wee bit more worried. How would you view it tomorrow? Who do you think he'll start with? Do you think he'll go with McLaughlin, or do you think he'll go with Alan McGregor?
I generally think it's a toss of a coin. It's so close between them now, and see, everybody I've spoke to, they've gave valid reasons for both. Personally, I'd go with McGregor, but I totally understand why people are saying McLaughlin. I totally understand why people wouldn't go with McGregor. Doesn't he command his box enough? Has he ever commanded his box? He's a better shot stopper than McLaughlin. McLaughlin's better with his feet. It's as simple as that. So it's a toss of a coin. I really hope that Van Bronckhorst doesn't go with the Dutch way to pick a goalkeeper depending on what game we're playing. I've seen that before, picking and choosing. Because we'll play more football, so we'll play that goalkeeper. But yeah, I'd play McGregor. I know people blame him for a few goals. He did take a couple of howlers last year, but he also saved us a good few games as well, especially in Europe.
Yeah, he did. I mean, there was a few cracking saves, but as you say, the cross ball thing, the command in the box, and you know, he had a lot of errors last year that cost us points. And as I say, I'm not trying to go in hard on the guy because you know, the guy's a Rangers legend after all.
Yeah, I totally agree with your points. Totally
agree. But I genuinely don't know. I'm at a loss in terms of who's going to go with tomorrow. I mean, the way the Scottish Cup final ended, you kind of thought that was McGregor saying cheerio. And there was all this talk that he was getting a coaching role and all the rest of it. So it was about it. I was quite surprised that he got another year, I must admit. So I just don't know where he's going to go with us tomorrow.
If you remember the Celtic game at Hampden, I think it was noticeable the difference with McLaughlin being able to command his box a bit better. And I think that ultimately won us the game or kept us in the game when we were getting beat. At the end of the game, at the final, when McGregor was giving his interviews, it seemed like a goodbye. Everybody kind of thought that. But part of me thinks, is there maybe a goalkeeper that we've got an eye on, say maybe December, maybe next year, and it just says, oh, he's signed for another year until this guy's available. So maybe, I'm just throwing out there.
Yeah.
Because I've heard Ross Wilson before talking about planning 2-3 windows in advance. They're possibly doing something like that.
Yeah.
Because who would come in to play second fiddle to McLaughlin, for example, who's as good as McGregor? I don't think there's many.
In terms of the back four tomorrow, Gary, you know, I think we can safely say that Tav will start, Goldson will start.
Are you sure? I thought that Polish guy would maybe start right back.
I would assume Bonner's starting, given that Yilmaz isn't arriving until Sunday. So it's just about sort of who's going to partner Connor Goldson. So I would say it's between Davies and Simpson. Obviously, Katic was also told today, or we were informed today, that he's been told to find another club. So I don't think he would make an appearance tomorrow. I don't even think Simpson's training with the first team anymore from what I'm hearing. So it would be, in my opinion, it would be between Davies and Suter. So who do you think? I'm going with Suter.
The team I put down was Suter. But I think Sands has got a chance. I think he impressed. I think it was against Blackpool. I think he played really well in the left there, back four. Left centre back, back four. And again, I think Van Bronckhorst likes him. I think maybe see a bit more of him this season. I think the games will be just a bit too early for Davies, but I think Suter will probably play.
Right. So again, up front, I think it pretty much picks itself. I think you're looking at Kent, Wright, and Cholak as the front three. So it comes down to that middle three now. So I'm going with Lundstram and Jack, and I think he might actually go with Arfield tomorrow.
I went with Lawrence and Jack and Lundstram, but yeah, quite possibly. As he said, it'll be a balancing act because guys need to get up to speed. But we've seen that. Lundstram's a great example. Take him all that time to get up to speed. So you might just say, yeah, Arfield, you've been there, you've scored goals at Livingston. Again, maybe start him. But I say it's no the worst guy to come in if that's what ends up doing.
Yeah, see, that's my thinking on it. It's such a, because of the artificial pitch and the environment and all that kind of thing. I do kind of wonder if in the middle of the park, if he's going to go with guys that he know that ground and know how to play there. And all
seems to quite like Arfield as well. I think Arfield came into a bit of a game after November last year. So he's obviously...
That's because Scott Arfield's a player, mate. Oh, this thing.
I like him. I like Scott Arfield.
He's a great player. This is aimed at Ross. This is totally aimed at Ross. Because me and him just always have a go at one another about Arfield. He's not a fan. But I think he's a great player. I really do. And I'm glad he got another year. Right, so starting 11. I never thought of Stephen Davis. Maybe he'll get a wee shout tomorrow. I've lost my place in the agenda here. So Cholak, as we said there, he's a certainty to start tomorrow given the injury situation with Morelos. We'll come on and speak about Morelos because there was a bit of positive news about him today. He scored last week against Spurs. He handed us a ration of play last season, in that Malmo game. I'm quite looking forward to seeing him. I didn't see much of him last week because we were out with the lads and things got a bit out of control. And we weren't really paying attention to the game. We were just too busy drinking. I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy because, as I said, he played well against us. He performed well in that Champions League game last season. He got the goal against Spurs last week. And he seemed keen. He come to Rangers. He seems like one of those guys that the minute you Rangers were interested, that's where he wanted to go. I don't know how you feel, but I've kind of got a good feeling about this guy, and I think he's going to score them on it. Yeah,
so they are. I'm glad he scored last week. I felt it was quite unlucky. Was it Blackpool? He got a goal disallowed. One of the games. It was a really good finish, but it was offside. But it was a really good finish. So obviously, when you sign a strike, you'd like to see him get off the mark. And the good thing is, he has played every game, so he'll be fit. He'll know the system. He'll know the players. And yeah, I'm very confident about him. I see they played well last year and done us. So hopefully, he can do a turn this year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I've not seen much the pre-season games at all. And as I said, I saw a wee bit of the Spurs game last week. And what I saw him, I thought he took his goal well. I might be wrong, I might be dreaming that. I thought he got a goal chopped off last week as well, but I'm maybe dreaming that because, as I said, things were getting a bit out of hand on the drinking front. But yeah, I think, given the situation with Ruth, the injury situation, you just can't count on him at all. You get 3 games out of him and then he's out for 5. I genuinely think we've been over-dependent on Morelos for a good number of years now, and it would be just nice to get someone in there that actually scores goals. I know we've had players like, as you say, D10 and a couple of others in, but they've never really hit the marks and hit the standards that are required at Rangers. And I'm looking at this guy thinking that he could be the one. And it would be nice for Alfie. I think the best thing for players is a bit of healthy competition. I think it brings the best out of them. So it would be good for Alfie not to feel that, he's pretty much the only striker at the club that's guaranteed to score X amount of goals and he's his place is certain. It would be good to see him get a challenge and hopefully bring more out of him.
Because I think actually it suits Van Bronckhorst's system, maybe better than what Roof does as well. So I think that's a positive, so that we're not over-reliant on Morelos, which we have been, other than that year we won the league when Hadji was scoring, Roof was scoring, and we're getting goals for elsewhere in the park. So that's... And the one thing is, to go off on a bit of a tangent, is that towards the end of the season we were crying out for attacking players. Says we had to play Aribo, Scott Wright and Ryan Kent, who didn't score a lot of goals either last year. That was their front three for a European final. And now we've got Matondo, we've got Lawrence, we've got, who else did I say? Tillman, Kolak. Now we've got all these options. And so Van Bronckhorst obviously seen that's where we're lacking, and they've made a good effort to try and strengthen that area. And that's exactly what we're wanting. And as you say, the competition's for places. We'll put everybody else on their toes, and hopefully we'll get the fruits of that.
On Alfie, my mate was at the Mygers thing through the week, the open training day, and he messaged me quite early on saying, Alfie's on the pitch training, and he looks all right, he looks fairly mobile. And I kind of dismissed it, and I was like, they say sort of September, October time, so it's maybe just, because it's the open training day, get up there so he sees the fans, all that kind of thing. But he's been named in the European squad, and the update today seemed to be fairly positive that it could feature in at least one of the games against the Belgian team over the next week. If that is the case, that's more positive news, because I think we were all fearful for a bit there because Alfie was injured, because Roof was injured, that Cholak could be, we're looking at him thinking, well, you're the only recognised striker at the club, and if you get injured, we're pretty humped again.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think that Morelos was that close to fitness. So that was another surprise for me. I didn't even know he was in the country, to be honest. So, totally right. I said that during the week. If Colak got injured, we're gubbed. Back to square one. But now, says if Morelos is nearly there, if Roof's back training, hopefully that's 3 strikers and they can rotate them. So you're not running one striker into the ground all the time. You can bring the other ones back slowly and rotate them through certain games, and that's what we need to do. You can't just, especially football nowadays when it's 60 games a season, you can't just rely on the same player to do the same job all the time.
Well, that probably was an issue last season for us, as you say, towards the end of the season we were the walking wounded, and actually I look at that Europa League final and think, when you consider that they were missing Alfie for the semi-final, and when you look at the players that were starting to come into the games in that European run, as bodies started to fall, so to speak, as the injuries started to top up, it's actually a minor miracle we got to that Europa League final. You know what I mean? And it did feel that if we just had 1 or 2 more players in certain areas, to add a bit of strength and depth in the squad, we would have been in a far better position come that final. It's good to see, as you say, players coming in the right positions and strengthening. On tomorrow, opening game of the season, it's been, for a number of years there, we weren't even at the races really when it came to the league. A couple of seasons we finished third behind Aberdeen, then we were finishing second, but still a good amount of points behind Celtic. Then we've won it. And we've absolutely buried them. We've won it by a landslide. Last season, we've lost it by, 4 points in the end? Very nip and tuck. January and February time obviously cost us. We didn't really start well after the winter break again. Yeah, and that's something that no doubt will be something of a topic, considering the break that we're going to have this year, with this World Cup in the middle of Christmas. But that's a discussion for another day. It feels like this season could be one of those real sort of nip and tuck title races. I don't think there's much between the two teams, between us and Celtic. So getting off to a good start, getting 3 points in the bank early doors, and putting out a message, and also giving us a wee bit of confidence going into which is an important game on Tuesday. Vital that we get off to a good start tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it showed last year as well. We won our first game and Celtic dropped points later that afternoon. So you're wanting to be chasing straight away, and that's all we can do is win our games, and hopefully Celtic slip up. And that's what happened in reverse at the end of the season. We were slipping up, and they were taking advantage. So we've got to do it to them, especially get this Ange Postecoglou fan club, like out the window. I can't be bothered with it. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on. They'll turn on him when we finally put pressure on him, because he got a really easy ride last year, and that's a massive regret of mine.
I look back to John McCallum made a really good point really early on in the season. And the game that I really started having fears about the season was at home against Motherwell. I think Celtic had dropped points that day. It might have been at Livingston, I can't remember. But they played at lunchtime on the Sunday, and the Rangers game was at 3 o'clock on the Sunday, because we'd been playing a European game on the Thursday. And Celtic dropped points. I'm sure it was Livy. And we dropped points against Motherwell.
I think they were 2-0 up, and then we 2 each.
No, that was later on in the season. This was about September time. And it was about the third time that Celtic had dropped points, and then we had followed up by doing likewise. That I mind saying to John McCallum, we were at a Pollock game, I was like, I've just got a bad feeling. But he made a really good point in one of the shows earlier than that, saying, we need to start taking advantage of Celtic being so shite now, because they're not going to be this shite for the whole season. They are going to pick up. They're a new team.
It was a total freak the season before that they just didn't seem to recover. But it was always going to happen. But the thing Celtic have always been good at is being consistent with other teams. The rest, they've beat the rest. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, we don't do that. And so, but one season, which again, it was a great season, I absolutely loved it, but it was a bit of a freak season when it was going on with Celtic as well. We really need to get to the stage where we're consistent against the teams, because Old Firm games take care of themselves. If Gerrard came in and we kind of were on a level playing field with Celtic again, it's been 50-50. It wasn't the 2 league games we lost against Celtic last year that lost us a league. It was because we couldn't beat Ross County, because we couldn't beat Motherwell, drawn with Hearts in the last minute. Endless. That's why we didn't win the league. It's nothing to do with how good or bad Celtic were. It was because we couldn't finish off the teams that we should be beating, especially Ibrox.
Yeah, I think, and again, a lot of this stuff happened in that sort of period right after the break. You know what I mean? Something happened before, but yeah, a really, really, really frustrating season. So hopefully we'll get off to a flyer tomorrow, get 3 points in the bag, and see what they do later on in the day. That's us, Gary. That's me. I've done my agenda. The only thing I've got to mention now is our other partnership with Zenith Coins, who are the official Rangers club coin partner. They've got a 150 anniversary collection going at the moment. It's a limited edition. There's 1,872 sets worldwide. 5 iconic milestones represented in them, which is the founding fathers, Ibrox Stadium, the Cup Winners' Cup win in 72, 9 in a row, and obviously the 55 season as well. Get yourself onto the Zenith Coins website if you want to have a look at those. And they're our official partners again for this season. So guys, that's us. That's the first preview show of the season done and dusted. Games on tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Make sure you're there, either at Livy or watching on Sky Sports, as I said. We'll have the show on Sunday night covering everything. I can't even remember who's on. I think I'm hosting, but I can't remember who the guests are. We were live tonight. We're live on a Friday, but the show will be available to download on a variety of platforms from tomorrow, including Acast, iTunes, YouTube, Castbox, Stitcher, Spotify, all your usual channels, guys. A big thanks to Gary for his contribution tonight.
Thanks so much.
I'll see you on Sunday night, and until next time, bye for now.